Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. And today I've got a video about 10 questions that I believe are very, generic but interesting to go over and kind of think through, and give some insight of my opinions on the game. But I'd also love to hear y'all's opinions on the game. So my goal here is to go through these 10 questions, ask them to myself, and I will answer them. But I'd also love for you guys to, potentially do the same. If you guys enjoy a lot of my videos, you know that I feel very strongly and passionate about this game. I have my absolute, love for the game in so many ways and respects. But then I also have things that I just cannot stand. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? Like, can we change this? But I think that that's gonna be any game at the end of the day. I've been playing games my entire life, and there's always something that you love about it and that keeps you coming back, and then there's always something that you just really can't stand and it kind of pulls you away. So I wanted to go over these questions and just kind of ask myself, but not only myself, you guys, what are your thoughts on the One Piece card game? All right, so question number 1, do you enjoy the mechanics of the game? I would say for the most part, yes. I think that the way the game is designed, and as far as, like general mechanics of, the counter, life, leader, card cost, everything feels really nice. However, I will say there is like maybe one small thing that I don't find super enjoyable about the game if I'm thinking about the future of the game. And that would be that I think that like triggers really just punish players for playing the game. And that's not only limited to, I know a lot of people will think that's, that I'm limiting that to yellow. I do think that there's just a lot of triggers in many colors that are almost impossible to play around. How do you think of, the endless possibilities of so many different triggers happening simply from a random RNG moment? It's it's good to have setbacks in some of the matches to where you kind of have to play around it, but I do think that is it just the punishment for playing the game and trying to play objectively to win is it does feel like a bit of a weird mechanic personally. Do you believe the game is balanced? I would say more or less yes. And I know that that's going to be kind of a hot take, but I would say more or less yes. The reason why is because I don't believe that every single deck or every single color, every leader that's been made in this game should be a deck or a leader that is, viable for winning a championship. I've seen people take the most random leaders to locals and absolutely dominate, right? But if we're talking about a very competitive event, such as like a regional or a national or something like that, I don't believe every leader needs to be, the creme de la creme and the best that can potentially be played in that set. So I would say there are best leaders for each respective color, and those leaders play very well into a lot of the others. I think there are, good matchups and bad matchups, but unfortunately, some colors and some leaders just have more bad matchups than they have good, and vice versa. There's others that just have more good matchups than they have bad. So, would I say that the game is like perfectly balanced? No. But would I say that it's pretty well balanced? Yeah, more or less. Are you excited for the future of the game? Absolutely. I think that the game has a lot of promise, and I'm really excited to see a lot of the colors that maybe haven't been seeing as much love or seeing as much gameplay over the past like 2 sets maybe make its way back into the meta, or potentially get into like a really like exciting spot in the future of the game. And that's what makes me excited, is not only the potential for the future starter decks, but we'll also have the EBO1 and 2 coming out this year to kind of like buff up some of those previous leaders. I've been seeing some absolutely wild Purple Croc gameplay in the simulator, and it's so cool because I thought the leader was really neat when it first came out, but then I was like, oh, it's not that great into the current meta. But with a lot of the additions that are coming out, it makes for future, or some of those past leaders to become, you know, really good staples in the future. So as far as the future of the game, I'm always excited. I want to see new cards, I want to see new mechanics, and yeah, I mean, overall, that's what we play the game for, is to see what happens and to, you know, continuously get excited about new parts of the game. What color is currently the strongest and what color is currently the weakest? So I would say like the strongest color is a toss-up kind of between black and yellow, but I feel like it probably goes to black right now, at least. I do think yellow is going to be looking extremely dominant in OP07. But right now, I would say black. I think that the color is, you know, very control-based. It also allows you to progressively put down extremely powerful characters onto the board and mitigate your opponent's board at the same time. So kind of killing 2 birds, 1 stone is very good. It also, black just has some of the best blockers, if not the best blockers in the game currently. So I do think that black is probably the strongest. I would put yellow maybe right underneath. And as far as the weakest, honestly, I think this might be a hot take, but I think red. I think red is currently the weakest color. And I don't think that that's like, I don't think that that's to say that red doesn't have a chance in the meta. I think that there are just decks that are, like, Zoro's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I think that deck will forever be good. It's always going to get pretty easy additions to the deck as well. Low-cost cards, rush cards. Yeah, it's got a lot of playability. But I do think that red is going to be looking pretty solid in the future. I mean, we can only see some great cards come out for that. But at the current moment, I would probably say red is the weakest. What is your favorite and least favorite thing about the game? I would say the favorite part of the game for me has just been like learning and becoming better at it, and making a lot of friends along the way, whether that's through the YouTube community, Twitch, a lot of my local friends. I've made probably like some lifelong friends, if I had to be honest, through this game. So I'm ecstatic about that. But just becoming better at it and learning and just kind of seeing my overall progress from when I first started playing this game to where I am now is honestly just like so fun to look back and see how far I've come. Because this is my first TCG, so I've just been having a great time with that. Least favorite thing, though, I would say my least favorite thing about the card game right now is not card design as a whole, but just certain cards. I think there's just certain cards that have been put into this game that I feel like they're just not fun from like a customer satisfaction standpoint. Like just a player standpoint, looking at some of the card mechanics and how they play or what they do in the game is just, it's not fun to play against. And so I would say if there was something that I didn't enjoy about the game right now, it would probably be like yet again, it's like a very small selection of cards. But to give an example, I do think that Capone Beige is probably one of the worst card designs ever. It's just not fun to play against. And if yellow didn't have it, I don't think the yellow would be down bad by any means. It's just a bad card, and it's not fun to play against. But yeah, I would definitely say that's probably my least favorite thing about the game right now. Are you happy with product availability? Yeah, no. No, I think that it's tough. I understand from Bandai's standpoint that it's probably very tough because this game has exploded in popularity. So there are a ton of new players coming into the game, and with that, that means that you have to have a lot more product. And I do think that there's a lot more people interested in the game than maybe they anticipated. So having a lot of the, you know, product shortages and like the hike in prices and stuff like that has definitely been, it's not been fun from a customer standpoint. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I personally, this set, have not bought many boxes at all. I think I, in total, will have a total of 3 boxes. Whereas previous sets, I've bought upwards of 7 or 8 boxes. This one, I have 3. And I think that I'm probably just going to buy singles. Yeah, I think I'm probably just going to buy all the single secret rares and super rares. Because, yeah, it's a little crazy right now. Do you enjoy the official Bandai events for the game? Absolutely. 100%. I think that the games, the events that they host, not only for like large competitive tournaments like the regionals, treasure cups, national tournaments, are fantastic. Obviously, you know, there's some complaints that could be made about, you know, how events are managed sometimes, but I would say overall, they're great events that they're hosting for the community. So I'm very pleased with that. And from a local standpoint, having some of the maybe not so competitive tournaments like pre-releases and store championships, although I would say store championship is pretty competitive, but you know, some of those ideas are just great. I love that. Just being able to get, you know, unique cards into players' hands and just have a fun tournament that players can come in and enjoy and maybe check out, you know, new card mechanics or try some of the sealed events. I love it. I hope that they continue to do stuff like that, and that, you know, the future is only going to look brighter if we continue to see more fun events like these. How did you improve at playing the game? Honestly, so with this being my first card game, I started off not really knowing what to do, period. But I like to think that I do have like this drive to become better at everything that I do. And I like to think that a lot of it was me practicing and just like playing the matches over and over again until I figured out, you know, how to do certain things. But if I'm being honest, I genuinely just asked players that are way better than me their opinions and how to do certain, you know, how to do certain things, right? So after a game that I would lose, if I know that it's somebody that has beaten me like 10 times and I've beaten them once, I'm asking them, hey, was there something I could have done better there? Did I make a mistake at some point? And a lot of the times, they're very friendly, and they'll let you know, like, yeah, on this turn, you maybe shouldn't have done that. And I think that for me, personally, has been one of the biggest drives of me becoming better, is realizing, okay, I don't have to sit on my high horse and think that I'm, you know, the best at the game, because I know I'm not, right? I'm not even close. But, you know, a lot of people get that mentality. So I think that asking questions to players that are better than yourself, or maybe somebody that got the game over you, you get a different point of view. And I think that that's really nice. That's helped me improve a lot. I also watch a lot of videos. There's amazing content creators for this game on YouTube. And I watch a ton of gameplay videos, and, you know, just videos going over, you know, like their thoughts on certain deck builds or this, that, and the other. But I would say the last thing is running this YouTube channel. Doing commentary over my own matches has simply made myself realize my own mistakes in real time. And I love that. And it helps me become a better player, and I just have a blast doing it. Is there anything that frustrates you about the gameplay? I would say there's nothing major that frustrates me about the gameplay, other than maybe going back to the aspect of you know, triggers being very punishing for playing the game accordingly. But I do feel like the answers to certain decks are found within those decks themselves, which I do think is a little backwards. So, for example, you know, with yellow, a great answer to yellow would be to have banish cards, right? We don't have many great banish cards in this game at all. There's hardly any, if that. But there was an incredible banish card that was printed in OP06, and that's Onami. Being able to give a leader or a character, anyone, banish, is just a phenomenal answer to yellow. But it's sad that you have to play yellow in order to answer that. And I just think that that's backwards. Another great example, Borsalino. Borsalino cannot be KO'd by card effects. That's literally what black does. So if you're running the mirror, it's one of the best cards you can have in the mirror, or like of any, you know, mono black or even multicolor black leader mirror match. Borsalino is one of the best cards because it basically counters what your opponent can do. And so I think that just having certain answers, you know, or like, I guess answers to certain decks be in their own respective color does feel like something that kind of frustrates me from like a gameplay standpoint. I do think that there should be a more harmonious passage of, you know, where these cards are located for, you know, playing against one another. All right, and the last question, what changes would you make to the game? Oh, all right, I didn't really... I want you guys to know I didn't really think of answers before doing all of this. I just kind of had the questions, and I wanted to go as, you know, as freely as possible, what comes to my mind. And I would say what changes would I make to the game? For sure, I would love to see the English portion of the game catch up and be towards the same release schedule as Japan. I know that Digimon has recently done this, or they're working towards it in the very near future. But yeah, having that would be, I think it would be really nice. Having a set ban list and restriction list that matches not only our meta but theirs, I think would be incredible. So that's definitely a change I would make. I would also say like an option that I thought would be interesting for this game would be side decking. I think that if we did have the opportunity to side deck, I think that would like maybe give us 10 cards on the side that we could interchange out with certain cards. It really gives you like possibilities of being able to go into a tournament and realize like I don't just have to tech around one color. You know, I can potentially like try my best for multiple matchups. And I would really like to see how that would work out. I think it would be extremely fun. So that's just me personally. I think that would be a fun mechanic. But I also, yet again, being my first TCG, don't know how that could also be negative towards the game. So take my suggestion with a grain of salt. And is there anything else I would change? Maybe changing... This is like a small picky thing. But maybe changing the tournament packs that we get for every single set, you know, whenever we're playing your standard battle tournaments at your local shops. The cards that we get in a lot of these tournament packs are all like just fan favorite cards or like really useless cards. I have yet to see... Well, that's not true. There's been a few. There's been a few reprints of very good cards that were hard to get, you know, people had a tough time getting their hands on. I'd love to see, you know, more opportunities for, like, just playable cards. I don't know. It does seem like a lot of the tournament pack cards seem to be very just fan favorite or just the most random card you would ever expect to be on a TP. But yeah, that's just me. And yeah, I think those would just be some changes I would make to the game. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, just kind of going over some of my thoughts about, you know, these 10 questions. I'd love to hear what y'all's thoughts are, though. If you want to leave a comment that has, you know, number 1, 2, 3, you know, all the way to 10 and give your own opinions about the questions, I'd love to see that. If not, and you just want to, you know, let me know what you think about my thoughts, I'd also love to hear it. And other than that, guys, if you wouldn't mind, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace.